The next problem is number 7. So you're going to page, you're going to page 7, and it's number 7. So this is the problem right here. It says h over 3 plus h over 6 equals 1. What answer did you guys get? C. Does anyone need to go over it? Do you not have a packet? I'll get you one in a second. I don't know where they all went. I'll get one. Can you? It's okay. Keandra, I'll get you one in a second. What could I do with my answer choices? Alex. What could I do with my answer choices? What could I do? Plug them in, right? So I could plug each of these. How do I get a fraction on my calculator? What button do you press? And D, right? So I can put each of these in for H. So let's try 6. If I put that into my calculator, what's 6 divided by 3? 2. And what's 6 divided by 6? What's 2 plus 1? Is that 1? Is 3 1? Nope. So you just keep plugging them in. Of course, that's probably not the way that you learned how to do it, but we just condensed a lot of material in a little amount of time. So basically, almost this entire test is multiple choice. So you always want to take your answer choices, plug them in, and figure out which one equals 1. If you were to plug in 2 over 3 plus 2 over 6, you would end up getting 1 in your calculator. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, so I want you to try that with this one. This was the next question. They're saying which of these could be m? So first, let's simplify. What is 15 minus 5? 10. And what's 15 plus 5? 20. I almost put 15. Plus 0.5. So you're plugging each of these in, and we're figuring out which one does this equal this when I plug it in. Does that make sense? So I know 2 of you know the answer, maybe more, but I'm going to give you a minute and figure out, okay, which one makes sense when I plug it in for m, that the 2 sides are equal. So I'll give you a minute to figure that out while I get Keandra out. All right, did y'all get the answer? What was it? It was C. Does anyone need me to go over it? All right, so when I plug in here 10 over 10 in your calculator even, or what's 10 divided by 10? 1. And I need to equal this side, 10 over 20 plus 0.5. If you were to put that right in your calculator, you would get 1. Or you also know 10 is half the 20s, which is 0.5, plus 0.5 equals 1. Does 1 equal 1? So that's the only one where I could plug it in for m, and it would be equal on both sides. Does that make sense? So when in doubt, plug it in, right? All right, next one. 9. Does anyone need me to go over it? Next one's number 9 on the net. Flip the page over. Does anyone need me to go over it? Tristan? Okay. So this one's 2 over 3 plus x over 3 is greater than 1. Now, usually we can plug it in, but now it's talking about inequalities. So first, I can't do anything until all the denominators are the same. 1 we know is just 1 over 1. What could I multiply to 1 to get it to be 3? 3. And when we multiply fractions, we multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. That way I end up getting 2 over 3 plus x over 3 is greater than 3 over 3. If this is something that you didn't get or you didn't understand, write it on your blue paper. Now that all the denominators are the same, see how all the denominators are the same? I can drop the denominator. So now I'm just going to write the same equation, but without the denominators. Because once the denominators are the same, I don't need them. So now how do I get 2 to the other side? How do I get 2 to the other side of the equation? Subtract it. And you end up getting positive x and 1. Which one would be my answer? B. Make sure when you're looking at your answer choices, there's a big chance that the answer could also look like this. Notice that as long as the mouth is eating x, these two answers are exactly the same. So they want to know that you can recognize that the way the mouth is eating is what you're looking at. So this says x is greater than 1. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe. All right, last one. What's the answer? Second to last one. What's the answer here? B. Anyone need to go over it? Oops. Okay. Next one's literal equations. Literally, a lot of our ninth graders and a lot of our Algebra 1 have struggled with this. What this means is we're literally rearranging for a letter. So literal is we're literally rearranging for a letter. That being said, it says A equals pi r squared. And what letter do they want you to solve for?
A. Oh, R.
R. So we need to make sure, okay, what are they trying to solve for? We've already solved for A. I want to solve for R. So all we're doing is moving it around. So how would I get the pi on the other side?
Divide.
Divide. Remember, that's an invisible multiplication sign. So first thing I'm going to do is divide. When I do that, I get A over pi equals R squared. What's the opposite of squaring something?
Multiply.
No,
Divide.
not divide.
Oh, no.
Someone said it. Not add.
Divide.
What'd you say? We're on it's page 19, I think. Yeah, it's all the way on page 19.
Oh, square.
Square, well, this is square, so what's the opposite?
Oh.
Square root, or radicals,
Yes.
right? Well, we just went over radicals. Radical gets rid of a square. So if you didn't remember that, make sure to write it down. So that would be my answer. Radical A over pi equals R. And although it looks funky, that's all we're doing here. We're just rearranging for an answer. Does that make sense? You are going to be practicing with these two. But first I'm going to do one more with you. So you're going to page 3, number 11. It looks like this. So you're going to page 3, number 11. Page 3, number 11. And so these are the type of problems that you're going to see on your milestone, where it's giving you each step, and they're asking you to find the mistake. Those are the type of problems that you're going to get. So first, I can't touch these unless the denominators are the same. I'm going to put my invisible one. How could I make those denominators the same? What number could I multiply to each of them so that they're the same number? Okay, the least common multiple. So what number could I multiply to 4 and a different number to 3, but I want them to be the same number. So what you can do is let's count by fours. Count by fours. 4, 8, 12. Now count by threes. What's the first number that they have in common? 12. Ding, ding, ding. So I know that I need to make them both 12. So that's how we find our least common denominator. To do that, what do I need to multiply 4 by? How many times? 1, 2, 3. When I multiply something to the denominator, I need to multiply it to the numerator. How many times do I need to multiply 3 to get it to be 12? 1, 2, 3, 4. So what am I going to multiply to the bottom? And then I'm also going to multiply the top by 2. Does that make sense so far? So now, what is negative 1x times 3? Negative 3x. And then 4, I need to multiply to both of these. What's 4 times x? And 4 times positive 2. 8. Now, do I need the denominators when they're the same? Nope, I can cross them out. And so this is the answer I should have gotten. Negative 3x is less than 4x plus 8. Did everyone get that? Is that correct? That's step 1. This is step 1 correct. Y'all, you have, I know we're quiet and it's after milestones, but like you've got to give me something. You gotta let me work on something here. So when you do that, that ends up equaling this. So step 1's correct. How do I get 4x to the other side? Subtract it, right? Is that what they did right here? Yep, that's what they did right there. So I know they did that one, right? What is negative 3 minus 4? Negative 7x. Did they do that right there? Now, how do I get x by itself? Divide by what? Negative 7. What happens to my inequality sign when I divide by a negative? It flips, remember that? So when I divide by a negative coefficient, my sign flips. Page 3, come on. So now my sign's flipped, and I end up getting negative 8 over 7 is my answer. Is that what they got right here? Is that what they got as their answer? That's what they got? No. So they're saying explain the mistake they made and show or explain how you would get your answer. Remember, is this test on paper or is this test on a computer? What is every milestone you've taken? Is it on a computer? A computer, right? So you can't sit there and show your work. You're going to have to explain what you did. You're going to have to explain all the steps are correct, but then when we divide by negative 7, the inequality sign's going to flip because we're dividing by a negative. They divided by 8 instead of negative 7, and that's why they got that answer. Like you're going to have to be able to explain that. Does that make sense? Do we all know the inequality signs, like what they mean? So right here, if I'm looking right here, what does that mean? A number greater than. Cool. So I can see it's eating x. What about this one? So if you don't remember these, I would write them down. So remember, you're always looking at your variable. So if your variable is being eaten, I know it's greater than. What about this one? Less than. And the next one's going to be less than or equal to. Now Now, when would the sign flip? The sign flips when we divide by a negative coefficient, right? So right here, the sign would flip because we're dividing by a negative coefficient. What about right here if I had this? Would the sign flip here? In this first one, would the sign flip here? It would. Why not? The coefficient isn't negative. Good. So it has to be with the variable. So since this one's negative, it does flip. Even though this guy right here is negative, the one being divided is the one that flips it. Does that make sense? Like, I know you guys are tired. I know you just took 2 days of milestones. I know. I understand. I've been there. So, like, I'm asking you to, like, give it your all for the next 3.5 days, and then it will get better. But, like, this is 20% your grade, and I don't get these scores until I enter them in your grade book, basically, when I have to click submit. So it's something that could bring your grade up, but most people, how they do in class is how they do on the milestone. But, like, at this point, what you give is what you're going to get out of it, right? If you don't care, that's fine. Like, continue to put your head down and close your eyes and do whatever. But, like, you're going to be back in here. You don't want to do that, right? You put in all this effort this year. You don't want to give up now. All right, so what you're going to be doing right now is you're doing your extra credit or your extra practice. I will take a small group if you do need help. So your extra practice, I'll give you in a second. The first thing I want you to write down are your 2 homeworks. These are your 2 homeworks. If you want to take a picture of it, it is 2 homeworks because it's 2 class periods. You can see on the board today we're doing unit 1 and 2. Tomorrow we're doing 3 and 4, so first and third. 5 and 6 is Friday. Your practice test is going to be homework over the weekend. I'm literally going to give you the answers on Monday and say any questions. So like if you don't do it, then that's not going to help you, right? And then your milestone is on Tuesday. Yeah, so it is coming up quick. So I'm asking you to like, not for me, right? Because at the end of the day, like it's on you. I can't be there taking the test for you. So I'm asking you to put in as much effort as you can to make sure that you got this. Did everyone write this down? No. Or take a picture of it. So I'm about to go to the next one. This is your first homework. You have 2 homeworks. If you feel okay with unit 2, which cool, if you feel okay with it, then start doing your homework. If you want to do the extra credit, I will give you extra credit grade for doing the practice problems that I'm going to put on the board. All right, did y'all write this down?
Yeah.
And so as long as you write the quizzes code down, the quizzes code has all the questions with the numbers next to it of the page number. But these are the questions that are going to be on the quizzes. All right, the next one is right here. So that's linear. This one's going to be systems of equations. That's one we haven't gone over in a while. So the next one you're going to write down is that homework right there. It's 2 different homeworks, but I need them done by tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, you're putting in all this effort, but we aren't going to have many grades after the milestone. After the milestone, it's going to be a lot more relaxed, and there aren't going to be a lot of opportunities to get grades. Am I grading you on accuracy on this homework? No. I'm grading if you try it, and if you come in with your paper starred, if you didn't get it correct. So whichever ones you need to do it. These are also on your Google Classroom. So if you go on Google Classroom, you can see all of these on there. Here is your extra credit. So we just did this one. I need you to explain it